Okay, so today we are going to do a demonstration of how to do a tinnitus assessment. We have the pure tone air thresholds input, and we're going to move on to the tinnitus section. So what you want to do is you need to check that you're not continuous on, that you're using tones. That's usually the way to start with, unless they've said they have a white noise or pink noise or fresh noise sort of sound. That's mostly going to be what you're going to work on. And then you have to have your transducer and the ear you're working with, which is the right ear at this point in time, your decibel steps, your hertz steps, which is the standard octaves and half octaves, that sort of thing. So this person has reported that they have a high frequency tinnitus that's constant and seems to them to be pretty loud. So we don't need to start to match at 500 hertz. Most people aren't going to call that a high-pitched one, so we can start somewhere a little higher up. And what I'm going to tell the patient is, what I need you to do is I'm going to play a tone, and listening to it compared to the ringing in your ears, I need you to tell me if I need to go higher or lower. And we'll kind of narrow it in that way. And you'll notice that I'm making sure to stay. They're thinking that's okay. But people don't always know what's okay or not. So you always go up a little bit because people are like, no, you're right, that one is better. So you check. So right now we're at 6,000 hertz. Oh, no, back down. Okay, this is where you get in there because people's tinnitus are not awkward octaves or half octaves, so you need to make the scaling be a little bit smaller and narrow it down that way. So I'm moving it to a 1/6 octave. We're going to go down a little bit. Oh, worse down a little bit. They think that's it, but remember what I said, we go down a little bit. Too low. Okay, we go down in between a smaller size. It was 6,300. Ah, 6,300. Still 6,300. We go down a little bit further. Maybe down a little bit. Somewhere right in there. We'll go down below and see. Oh, 6,150 might be it too. We go down below. 6,000 is too low. So somewhere 6,150 to 6,300. Oh, 6,220, 6,300. 6,220, 6,300, 6,400. Oh, down from there. A little bit down. We've got another 6,220. We're going to go again. And it's definitely up. We're going to trick. No, up. One more try above. Down. See? See how we bracketed it? Now, you want to hit store. You want to hit store. You want to hit store so badly, but you can't. You have to actually click it in here. Now you have a threshold. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to try and see how loud it was. Actually, you know what? I always do this to myself. It actually wants us to do a hearing threshold on this screen, and it likes for you to do a hearing threshold in smaller increments when you're doing a tinnitus matching, because you want to know a little bit more finely what you have going on. And I'm going to look dumb right now when I do this because there's like a weirdness in here, and I think I need to do the hearing threshold before I can do the loudness matching one, and even though they're not in order. So we're going to see what we get. Y'all follow along with me. It's always very exciting. So, tell me yes, no matter how soft the beep is. I'm looking for the softest sound you can hear. Okay. See how I started with 5 dB increments, got close, and then brought it down to 1? That's what we're looking for. Now we know the softest sound you could hear at that pitch where your tinnitus is, and what we're going to try to do next is I need for you to tell me, much like the higher lower pitch, whether or not the tinnitus is louder or softer than what you're hearing. If the beep is louder, you point which direction I need to move the beep to make it closer. Yeah, tell me to go lower or to go higher to get it closer. And we're gonna start with the 5 dB increments. We'll do one more try somewhere in there. So we're going to switch back to the 1 dB steps. And there's your loudness masking. Okay, so the next stage of this, what we need to do is to find out if a noise can cover it up. So first I need to know how softly you can hear the noise. So you're gonna tell me yes to listening to a ch-ch-ch sort of noise. Okay. Just like when we were testing how soft you could hear the beeps. And you'll notice The masking noise threshold is softer than the hearing threshold. Why? Because it's a wider band. So you're activating more of the cochlea, you're catching on the curve, whichever way it goes. You expect the masking noise threshold to be a little bit lower than the hearing threshold. Now we want to see how much of that sound, noise, it takes to cover it up. So now I want you to focus on the masking, the noise, and tell me, don't focus on your tinnitus, do focus on the noise, but then be like, is my tinnitus covered up? I know that seems a little odd, which one I want you. It's hard to separate it out. That's right. Tell me.
Turn it down if it's so loud I can't even hear my tinnitus anymore.
So I want you to turn it up. Tell me to turn it up and be like, it's covered,
Okay.
sort of thing. And we'll do that kind of a couple of times coming up to see how consistent it is for you. Doing okay in there? I know this is not a pleasant test. I think one more run will give us what we need on that one, okay? Okay, so when it was covering it up, your tinnitus, would you call it completely covered, partially covered? Completely covered or partially covered?
I mean, for the most part, I might could still have heard it if I focused, but you told me not to focus, so I would say partial.
Okay, we'll go with partial. So now what's going to happen is I'm going to play it for a period of time, and then I'm going to turn the sound off, and I want you to tell me if the tinnitus comes right back or if it stays suppressed for a little while. And it's going to play for about a minute here. And would you say it was completely gone when it was gone?
Yeah.
Okay. And basically speaking, that's how you collect the data for a tinnitus evaluation. The only other things that you would add to make it a full and complete tinnitus evaluation so that you can bill that code, which my brain just turned off and I did look that up this morning, is you would do some questionnaires, and this system has the THI and the TFI built in, and I like to use them both. They kind of have different focuses on the like emotional aspect versus the social aspect. So I like to have both of them together if the patient isn't too frustrated. There's some reduplication between the two questionnaires. So if they're relatively chill, I'll do them both. If they're a little bit more emotional, a little bit more frustrated, I might think about what I want to focus on, do one, and kind of assess the other one later if I need it. So I hope that helps.